These are the steps for setting up your grade rules for grading in bra. You'll need to have your pattern drafted prior to grading. I actually have created a spreadsheet. So I'm going to go ahead and use this because I went ahead and made it already. This one is actually downloadable on our website. It is really, it's a little complex, but if you know Excel, you could easily create one of these yourself. But if not, they're only $10 on my website. So here is basically where I need to set up my information. So if you're looking here, we have our band size. So I'm going to go with my size. This is the one that we created. So I know I am a 38. That is the band. The cup size is a J. And my diameter, and I went ahead and measured this before I finished my draft. This I know is 13. Now each size in your cup, basically, it's pretty standard. It grows by a ½ inch. If you're doing metric, I believe it's, what is that, I can't do the conversion right this second, but there's actually, if you're in Australia, your cup size growth is a little bit different than what other cup size growths are. So you want to look to see what actually works for you. This one right now is for imperial. I can always set up a spreadsheet for metric. Not too difficult to switch it. Here for the wire length. Now you should have your wire chosen. You need actually your wire chosen before you even begin your draft. So here I'm going to, if your manufacturer doesn't provide a length of the wire, just take it and measure it yourself. So here, let's see, my wire length, and I wrote this down. Let's see where I wrote it down. Of course, I leave it on my sheet in the other room. Oh no, here it is. Okay. It's 14 3/8 is my wire length. Oh, so that goes here. My growth, this you actually would need to check from the wire chart. So this is actually the growth between each wire. So going up a wire, going down a wire. It can vary anywhere from like a ½ inch to 5/8 of an inch. This one I'm using actually my vertical wires, and my vertical wires is a 5/8 of an inch difference, so I'm going to put that here. My wire size that I'm starting out with is going to be a 54. Now if you end up looking at our chart, let me switch over to that screen. So if you're going to use your basic wire chart and you follow here, so you look where it's J, let's see if I can't really pull that. So going down at J and at 38, you see that I actually would be using a 58. I'm specifically grading this set of patterns to use a smaller wire. So I'm actually going down 2 sizes of wire. It's just what I found was kind of the most common when I did my survey of other bra makers, or bra users rather. Okay, so this is the chart I'm using. This really is, it's in a different form pretty much on all manufacturers' website. You just have to kind of look to see which wire fits which size, but I'm going down 2 wire sizes, so I'm going to use my 54. Now here I actually have, that's 125. I actually have in my book, oops, and of course I just trying to scroll through it. I'm having difficulties. Okay, so here I actually have my wires. So you can see I've got my regular wires and my vertical wires. I actually compiled all this information. It's not readily available, or may not readily be available depending on your manufacturer. So I'm actually going to use the 54. So if I look down here, the vertical is 54. This is the length of the wire I'm going to create, and I did indicate that this is a 5/8 of an inch growth in my wire line. Okay, so let's come back over here to our spreadsheet, and we've basically completed this part. Now we're going to be determining our sizes. Now, yes, I can easily copy and just do, A through O or whatever size I want to do, but because I'm going to be creating a range, I'm actually going to determine what my sister sizes are before I fill this out. So I opened up another spreadsheet, and I'm going to go ahead and we can put 30. So I want to go down to a 30 band, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, oops, can't type, 40, 42, 44, Maybe I'll do 46, and just for the sake of it, I'll just put 48 too. Okay, so the smallest I would probably do in this range would be a G. So we have G, H, I, J, K, L, I guess we can consider. So each of these cup sizes are basically going to kind of step up one range. So this I'm going to set up. My computer's a little bit slow, so bear with me. And I'm going to copy that here. And so for each of these sizes, I'm just kind of going over one. So XL can be your best friend. And let's see. Okay. So we are starting at this one right here. I'm going to just highlight this for a second. So this number, just to kind of put into perspective what this all means, is everything that's in this column right here, this has the same volume of cup. So as you go down in cup sizes, or actually go down in band sizes, you actually go up in cup sizes. So if we want to complete the whole range to include basically the 30s, well, so basically this thing, everything in this column, I just messed that up. My computer's freezing and freaking out on me. Okay, so everything in this column is the same volume of cup. So you could, and this is really what we call a sister size. So here you have a 32M, which is also the same volume as a 34L, as a 36K, as a 38J. So if you were actually trying a ready-made bra, and let's say the cup fits you great, but the band is kind of loose, you would actually want to go step down by band and you step up by cup. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. So you're going down, but you're also going up. So down numbers, up letters. So what we actually want to do is we want to fill this full gap. So that way we're going to get the cup. We're going to have the sister size for the 30G and also create the sister size for the 48M, or depending on how far we go up. So here I'm just going to complete my my numbers here. Now you might be saying, oh, well, what is an E? Well, an E is technically also a double D, and an F is also technically a triple D. And if you're in Europe, there are actually a whole other range of sizes, but this is really primarily for US sizing and basic, I think, UK sizing. Once you get to French and Italian and Japanese and everything else, your cups are going to be a little differently, but this is where you can modify whatever you need. And so we're actually going to do a 38C is going to equal the 30G. So let's see how far we want to go up here. N, O, P, Q, an R. I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense for what we're going to do. Since we are kind of starting right here, it would make sense that it should be okay here, but basically at the end and the beginning of your range, you may have some people that may fit a little bit differently with it, which is why I'm really only going to the G, because this is really designed for a fuller bust, and that's why I'm doing it like this. Okay, so we're going to go from C to maybe R. I'm going to flip over to my other spreadsheet, and this is where you fill this in. So C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. Okay, well actually I only have it programmed to do up to that number, so we're going to have it stop at Q. Now this is a huge range, and I don't know if I'm really going to do all this, and I'm not sure how, you obviously, if you're doing a smaller range, you wouldn't do this many. Okay, so we need this in order to get started. This basically autofills. So this information here on the second one, which is your wire chart, this is the wires, and obviously towards the bottom I actually need to change my coding because that should not be there. And basically this is your length, so we're starting with our 54, and so this is basically doing the math of adding or subtracting from the wire length that you specified over here. So this is kind of designed really to help as a guide once we actually start working with the software. And you can also do this by hand, but the software or even with Illustrator is going to be a lot easier. So there will be different videos available. So you can always check the ones on either Polypattern or on Illustrator. I will have both of them, maybe not all at the same time, but there will be different options on how to actually fill out the rest of this form. But this is how you get your spreadsheet started, and this is where we discuss our sister sizes.